Assalamualaikum, hello and a very good morning to all. I am Fardin Hanis as your moderator. Today, we will be talking about green technology using wind turbine. Before we go further, let me introduce to all of you our panels. Let me introduce our first panel, Professor Chelsea Ines, one of lecturer from Oxford University. Good morning, Professor. How are you, Prof?
Hi, good morning. Thank you.
The second panel today is Dr. Shahira Nazira. Assalamualaikum and hi, Doctor. And our last panel is Dato Ajmal Zahin. Assalamualaikum Dato. I hope you're doing well.
Waalaikumsalam. Thanks for asking.
Okay. What do we know about wind? Wind is actually the moving of air and is caused by differences in air pressure within our atmosphere. Air under high pressure moves toward areas of low pressure. The greater the difference in pressure, the faster the air flows from the high pressure area to a lower pressure area. Air may not seem like anything at all. In fact, we look right through it all the time. But during a windstorm, air really makes its presence known. Wind is able to lift roofs of buildings, blow down power lines and trees, and cause highway accidents as gusts push around cars and trucks. Malaysia is a country located near the equator. It is equally important to know the flow pattern of wind across Malaysia that is dominated by two major monsoons. That is the southeast monsoon that flow from mid-April until September and northwest monsoon that flow from early November until March. The characteristic features of the climate of Malaysia are uniform temperature, high humidity, and copious rainfall. They arise mainly from the maritime exposure of the country, and the climate in this country is almost the same throughout the year, though the wind over the country is generally light and variable. However, there are some uniform periodic changes in the wind flow patterns across Malaysia. Thus, the country should study more expand the use of wind turbine by utilizing the wind in Malaysia. Wind turbine work on a simple principle. Instead of using electricity to create wind like a fan, wind turbine use wind to generate electricity. Wind turns the propeller-like blades of a turbine around a rotor that spins a generator, which then generates electricity. A wind turbine turns wind energy into electricity using the aerodynamic force from the rotor blades, which work like an airplane, wing, or helicopter rotor blade. When wind flows across the blade, the air pressure on one side of the blade decreases and difference in air pressure across the two sides of the blade creates both lift and drag. The force of the lift is stronger than the drag, and this causes the rotor to spin. The rotor connects to the generator either directly or through a shaft and a series of gears that speed up the rotation and allow for a physically smaller generator. These translations of aerodynamic force to rotation of a generator creates electricity. Without wasting our time, my first question to our first panel, Professor Chelsea, can you explain more to us about innovations of wind turbine?
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm going to talk about the innovation of wind turbine. The word innovation can refer to changing existing products into brand new things with some alteration. Okay, innovation are very important in our daily life. A small wind power has been innovated more than wind itself. The renewable resources have been approached by various innovations, such as Alteros has developed an airborne wind turbine. An inflatable and helium fuel shell is used in the buoyant airborne turbine for them to reach high altitudes to acquire stronger winds and more consistency as compared to traditional turbines that are mounted on the towers. By the year 2022, the research firm Allied Market Research has stated that the global wind power market is expected to reach 8.87 billion. Moreover, the innovative Nemoy wind turbine has a small size metallic structure and three vertical blades that allow it to spin around the central axis. The supply power is capable of structure to a household with wind speeds of 10 to 13 miles per hour. There is an abundance of renewable sources of energy that needs to be more accessible. For example, in order to increase the reliability and performance of a new generation wind, wind technologies, the Technologies Office works with industry partners to lower the cost of wind energy. The average capacity factor that measure of power plant productivity has increased from 22% to nearly 35% today by the office research. That's all from me.
Thank you for the long explanation, Professor Chelsea. From what of Professor have said, now we know that a small wind power has been innovated more than wind itself. Okay, my next question is to Dr. Shahira. What are issues and problems that frequently occur while using the wind turbine? Thank you, Doctor, for your explanation. To make our forum more interesting, Dato Ajmal, I know you have more experience on this topic. Can you share with us about the sound and cost issue?
All right. Thanks to the moderator. Other issues that frequently occur in the use of wind turbines are sounds and cost issues. Even though wind turbines can have a positive environmental impact as it uses renewable energy as its power source, wind turbine can also be visually imposing and are a source of audible sound and infrasound. If turbines are placed near to where people live, the sound produced by the wind turbines can potentially be loud enough to be a source of disturbance and adversely affects our sleep, which then will result in irritability, negativity, and cognitive disturbance. These negative reactions to wind turbine presence have been considered as in concept of annoyance. So, in order to manage the potential impacts from the wind turbine sounds, government and regulators have established wind turbine sound limits that place an upper limit on the sound level that wind farms can generate and effectively place a limit on the sound produced by the turbines. Besides that, the sound produced by the wind turbines can also affect the wildlife, especially birds. A new study suggests that loud ambient noises produced by the wind turbines can affect the sex life of birds. As what we know, birds communicate mainly by sounds, and this loud environment that caused by human elements interfere with their communications can reduce pairing by almost 15%. Many bird and bat species are experiencing long-term declines due to these problems. Other than sound, cost issue is also one of the problems in the use of wind turbines. The most challenges in executing this study are simulating wind power data at high time resolution. Most of wind turbines nowadays are cost $2 to $4 million range each. Operation and maintenance runs an additional $42,000 to $48,000 per year. This includes insurance costs, land payments, and routine maintenance that are relatively easy to be estimated. But on the other hand, the costs needed to repairs and to buy spare parts are more difficult to be predicted. There is a high initial unit cost of equipment and maintenance as a result of small initial order sizes, novel equipment, and the small numbers of units in the field to maintain. So what can be done? The industries could start it with funding for the necessary equipment, working capital, and initial overheads, and hire an experienced management so that this cost needed could be minimized. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dato, for your explanation. Okay, now I open the question and answer session. Audience can ask any question to all of our panels. So, any question from the audience?
Hi to all moderator and panels. I have one question in my mind, so I hope all the panel can answer my questions. So my question sounds like, how does a wind turbine work? So that's is my question. Thank you.
So, any panels?
I'll answer it. The wind turbine works on a simple principle. Instead of using electricity to make wind like a fan, wind turbine use wind to make electricity. Wind turns the propeller like blades of a turbine around a rotor, which spins a generator, which creates the electricity.
Okay, actually, there are lots more question and answer that I want to share with audience. But since time is running, I will conclude our forum that wind turbine technology has demonstrated the potential for contributing to the energy needs. This could lead to a major reduction in fossil fuel sources of energy. Thank you to all panelists for their explanation. That's all for our forum today. Thank you.